I built the best possible bounce elevator inside Grounded's newest update, the 1.4 update. As proof, this is how high up I am, and that is how consistent this new build of the bounce elevator is. So I'll catch up with you at the bottom. So this was my original design, and I now have some amazing people who've been commenting on my videos to credit. So thank you guys so much for commenting and letting me know what you guys have found and what's worked for you. Big shout outs to Johnny B Gamer for this new strategy. And this is, I think, the be-all and end-all of bounce elevators inside Grounded. It is the fastest, the most consistent. It is insanely good. This is what you're going to need to build it. You're going to need the same stuff we had in the last video. Grass walls, bounce pads, and grass floors. Now, I've tested this with grass. It might work with stems and other walls. I don't know. Grass is the easiest for everybody to have access to inside your survival world. So grass and stems are the chosen ones. This outer stuff, the ash walls, is just for looks, okay? You don't even need it. You can bare bones it just like this. These aren't even necessary. These half walls aren't actually necessary, but I think they help a whole lot because you can see the difference between this one and that one is if you hit this in the wrong spot, it might not work super well. Sometimes it throws you off. It might not be the best. So having these here is a good little guide. In order to actually build this, I'm going to actually build a section of it just here for you. And I'm going to run you through all the most important parts of this build to make it super consistent, just like this. Now, we're going to use this one to its entirety at the end of this video. So make sure you stick around just to see just how high up I built this thing. This is insane. You want to see that. Let's jump into our build menu, and we've already got all the stuff that we're going to need around us. But there are some very, very key parts to this. Okay, if you don't do this, it might not work as well as I've gotten this one to work just here. Right now, so we're going to grab one of these. We're going to grab our bounce pad and see how it's not snapped onto the grid. We want to make sure that we press Z to do that if you're using the Builder Nat or Control. I think if you're using your standard character in survival mode. Now, with this, it is very important to get the orientation correct. If you look at this bounce web here, I'll actually jump into Hoops' view for this. See this long straight edge? That needs to be resting up against the flat wall. So I'm going to grab a piece of wall over here. That needs to be resting up against that. And that is the key to this. That is the biggest key to all of this. As you can see, there's nothing really poking out, but you do clip into it as soon as you walk up against the wall, okay? So that is super useful, and that is the most important part of this. If you don't do this, it's not going to work, okay? Awesome. Now that we've understood that, we can get into the rest of it. We're going to add a secondary wall section. We're going to add a floor section. Okay, and this is the basic one. You can just get away with this if you want to do a quick and dirty build. But I like to add in these half walls here for guidance. The only downside to building with half walls is you can't press and hold to build multiple, which is really bad. I really wish they would bring that back. Okay, that is the super basic module that you can just infinitely stack on top of each other to the point you'll see at the end. Okay, now to pretty this up, I use some stem walls at the back here. You can use whatever you want. You will encounter this location obstructed thing quite often. Just move your builds out of the way and you should be good to go. Now that we have this module, we're going to pretty it up. I'm going to use my ash walls again because I really like the look of ash walls for this. Now, none of this is necessary at all, okay? I promise you, none of this is necessary at all. It just makes it look pretty nice and keeps it nice and clean and gives everybody, if you're joining your world, a really easy way to be like, cool, I need to walk into that bit. All right, let's build this a little bit higher with the Builder Nat. I've found that 2 is the optimal setup. It feels the nicest to me and you don't lose out on any speed. 3 is the upper limit if you want to save on resources, okay? So keep that in mind. I like the 2 personally. If you want to save on resources, go for 3 up. It'll just be slightly slower. Now, it's kind of important the way that you do this. I know it used to matter a lot more in the previous ones. I guess the building at the moment is a little bit janky, but you got to make sure that you build the trampolines, like the floor and then the trampolines kind of first before you put any walls up. Sometimes the trampolines have a much harder time clipping through and being able to build with them. So I highly recommend that you build it that way, just to save yourself a little bit of hassle down the line. This is the bare bones build. We're going to add some walls. That's our full build done. This is the nice, super sleek look of this. And the best part about this is you can literally attach this to any of your builds just by building this next to it or off the back of it or somewhere really useful. Let's check it out. In order to use this, once you've built your bounce elevator, it is time to use it, and do test this as you're building too, just in case you've made a mistake with one of your placements. Sometimes there are issues. But to use it, walk up to the second plank here in the wall. These, like I said, these things aren't necessary, but it really helps line you up. And this is the biggest that I'm aware of bounce elevator inside grounded. So if you had any doubts about this build, I mean, this is insanely consistent. I am yet to find a better build, and I've been trying. You guys have been making it really easy to keep wanting to do this kind of stuff, and I am going to keep trying to make some really cool designs that you can build in your own worlds. I hope this tutorial was helpful. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and let me know if the builds worked for you. I would very much like to know if they have been working for you. But that is the biggest bounce elevator inside grounded. I hope you liked it. I'll catch you on the next video, everyone.